Hi, and welcome back to Mad-Endo. My name's Morgan, and today we're going to talk about some helpful tips for that 6-week recovery stage from your abdominal surgery. These are tips and things that I kind of found helpful or wish that I had done in preparation for this time. And they're things that a lot of us don't even really think about, but the impact of having them just prepped and done beforehand, it's actually pretty good to do. So let's get into it. So we're talking about abdominal surgery, and I'm going to talk about specifically not necessarily my experience in my recent surgery, but what I would have found helpful, and hopefully you guys will find helpful too. So my most recent surgery was a hysterectomy. It was a hysterectomy and an excision of endometriosis. I had stage 4, and it was quite bad. So they took everything out, and I have one ovary left. It's my lefty, and she's hanging in there. She's doing good. She's not in pristine condition, but she's doing well, and I love her. Okay, so let's get into these tips. The first one, prescription. See if you can get those prescriptions before discharge. Either we didn't know to ask or just didn't think about it, but we got the prescription as I was being discharged. At the time of my surgery, it was right before holidays, and it was later at night, and it was storming outside, and we just really would have found it would have been nicer had we had those prescriptions beforehand, so I could just get home, get rested, etc. Now, depending on where you live, the next one on my list would be to ask for extra barf bags. That's right, barf bags. Depending on where you live, if they're going to charge you for those extra barf bags, it's probably not worth it. But here in Canada, if you can ask for 1 or 2 more, I would. The hospital barf bags, I don't know how many times I've said barf now, right? They are actually really well made. They don't leak. They've got a really extra absorbent towel in the bag. If you've ever had them before, you know what I'm talking about. Because after you've been through that heavy dose of anesthesia and you're coming out of it, it is likely you are going to throw up. So you're at least going to need one. You might not, but I think it's more common that you will. I just asked for a couple of extra for those just in case moments. Beyond that, the next one I have is just, put some forethought into the vehicle of anybody that's coming to pick you up from the hospital if you're able to have someone pick you up. Just because if it's lower to the ground or a truck, say, higher off the ground, you're not really going to want to be doing too much pulling and twisting of your body, especially right after surgery. So let's say you have somebody picking you up who owns a truck and you're used to pulling yourself up and getting into that truck. You're not going to want to do that after surgery. So I'd suggest having a stool in the truck for when it comes to pick you up. You can take that out. Having that extra step to help you get into the car is going to be less stress on your body. Something lower to the ground, again, you're going to want somebody there to help you take the stress off your body and the pressure and the weight so that you can get into that car a little more smoothly with less pressure and less stress on your body. Because again, you're not going to want to be torquing it, pushing and pulling. They're going to, after an abdominal surgery, especially if it's endometriosis and you're dealing with excisions, they're going to have restrictions. They don't even want you vacuuming after. So let alone pulling and pushing yourself into and out of any kind of low or high cars. The next thing is a pillow, and for 2 reasons. If you're comfortable with the seatbelt across your abdomen, I put a pillow across my abdomen so the seatbelt wouldn't feel so harsh against my stomach. I don't know if that's safe or not, but that's what I did. So I'm not going to suggest you do that because I'm unsure if that's the right thing to do, but I did it. The second reason I'm going to say a pillow is for when you're at home recovering, especially if you have pets or if you have children, especially young children. I walked around with a pillow for I think the entire 6 weeks. I wore those robes, and I would put it under on my belly and tie very lightly the belt of the robe around it to secure it in place. Sometimes I even had to. I got really big pants, and I put them in the pants so that it would just be resting on my stomach, and the pants would hold it in. And the reason for that is because if you have cats like I have, or if you have children, you do not want anybody surprised, jumping on your stomach, pushing on your stomach. You're going to be I was so protective of my stomach. You're probably going to be the same. You don't want anybody touching it, pushing it. You want that little extra bit of protection. So for that, I'd strongly recommend having a pillow. Just walk around with that pillow just to give yourself that extra peace of mind, number one, and just so that it has an extra cushion. All right, the next one is obvious. Here we go, puke bucket. Just have that by your bed, especially not for the whole 6 weeks per se, but for the first week, because you might have some nausea. You might not be able to get to the bathroom as quick as you want to. So just have yourself set up a nice little towel, a nice little puke bucket, just in case. Next one is really important, I think. Is slip-on slippers with a little bit of grip, because you're going to be walking around. You're going to be probably a little bit unstable. Remember that you're going to be taking prescriptions, especially the first few weeks after surgery. Make sure you have something that's super easy to get on and is going to give you a little bit of grip in case you're not so stable on your feet. Now, I'm going to mention stepping stool again. It's another one on my list. So yes, I've curated a list here. For depending on the height of your bed, my bed's a bit high, and the stepping stool just really helped me get into the bed. I couldn't really get into the bed without the stepping stool. So again, that comes into play. Another one is on my list is Metamucil and Senecot. These are natural fiber stool. Metamucil is fiber, and Senecot is like a stool softener, but they're natural, and that's just to help you have more regular bowel movements. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, coming off after anesthesia and being on the prescription drugs you're having, it does tend to back you up constipation. You want to make sure that you are, able to at least, have some bowel movements, okay? And the reason why they suggest Metamucil or Senecot, this was actually in my little list, my post-surgery list, was to get these two things, is because of the fact that they're natural. If you take one of those, what's it called? I can't quite remember. But the outside of Metamucil and Senecot, there is there are pills that help you have a bowel movement, but they do it by forcing your intestines to contract. And after surgery, especially excision surgery from endometriosis, it's quite possible, depending on the surgery that you had, that they've been, scraping and excising the endometriosis off your bowels. You really don't want your bowels after any kind of abdomen surgery, as far as I know. Don't quote me. At least they didn't want it in mine. They don't want your bowels doing this aggressive contraction. They want it to be more of a natural thing. So Metamucil and Senecot. Another really key thing after surgery, at least I found, was trying to stay hydrated and having some little helpful things to do that. I found having some electrolytes by my bed. So I would have water and electrolytes. So I would sip water and sip electrolytes. And what I mean by electrolytes are things like Gatorade, or Hydrolyte is more of a natural one. And you can also make your own, actually, with a little bit of water, a squeeze of lemon, and just a pinch of salt. And that is going to help you stay hydrated. That's super important. Another one here on my list is prepped meals. Nothing too spicy at first. We don't want spice. We don't want to have that messing in our bowels too much because, we've just had this surgery. So prepped meals, anything you can do to help yourself or your partner or anyone who's taking care of you to take care of you. You want to prep and prepare yourself as much as possible. So prepped meals, what does that mean? Well, that's meal planning. That's, you can order. I know that there are food delivery services. If you have a decent sized freezer, maybe you want to, get some lasagnas, put some lasagnas in there, anything that's going to help you get some food. But I would start probably the first few days with something nice and easy like soups, just some nice chicken noodle soups. Again, nothing too spicy. Okay, definitely this one. Have your podcasts ready, downloaded, lined up, ready to go. And for a couple of reasons. There's probably going to be times where you're just going to want to close your eyes and lie down. It's not necessarily that you're going to sleep, but you just want to close your eyes. At least I found that. But I don't want to watch TV. I just want to close my eyes. So listening to a podcast is really helpful for that. Also, they're going to want you to move after your surgery. They're going to want you to move, just walking, etc. It's really important to move because of blood clots. They want to make sure that you're not getting any blood. They want to do their best to ensure that you don't get a blood clot. And part of doing that is movement. So what I did is I'd put my podcast on, and I live in an apartment. So I would just walk up and down the hallway, just nice and easy with my pillow and my Crocs on, just walking up and down the hallway. I'd move my arms. I wouldn't do anything too crazy, just moving my arms, walking up and down the hallway. And every now and then, when I was, because you're sedentary most of the time, I would just stand up and move my arms and move my legs a bit just to get that movement in. They want you to do that daily for sure. So having podcasts ready, yeah. It was awesome. I think that's the time that I got into Mr. Ballin. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mr. Ballin, but he does things on, what is it? The Strange, Dark, and Mysterious, I think it is. And I really got into his podcast during my recovery. Yeah. I got a few more here to go. Oh, yes. So I have a pretty good bed frame that I can grab. And I found that was really helpful. So if maybe you have a lower bed frame or you don't have something you can grab onto, if there's something that you can, this isn't like life or death or anything, but I found grabbing onto the bed frame to help me move around in the bed was really handy. So if there's anything that you can do to help yourself there, moving around in your bed, even the first couple of weeks, just to help you move around a little bit more, it's going to be handy. And oh yes, you're really going to want to make yourself cozy and comfortable, okay? My surgery was during the winter, so someone got me an electric blanket, and I loved it through my surgery. It was a colder weather, like I said, and I just would cozy up under my electric blanket, and I loved it. So another way of making yourself comfortable, for me, I love being in pajamas. I love comfort. I love pillows and blankets and, big fluffy socks. So have those things washed and ready. Have those things washed and prepped for yourself to change into, the things that make you comfortable. Yeah, and I just have here again, remember to move and go for walks. I was, about the pillow thing, I would even we have a little walking spot near where we live, and I would go outside with my pillow around my waist in case I fell. I looked crazy, but I didn't care, who cares? After what you've been through with this disease, who cares? Who cares? So I would walk with my pillow and Mr. Ballin in my ears and just do my slow walking. And yeah, it was great. So yeah, look, you're going to probably want to move and do things before your 6-week time is up. I'm going to tell you now, don't do it. Don't do it. Especially if you're listening to this and you've had, and you're getting endometriosis surgery on your stomach, you suffered enough with this disease already. There's no need. Don't do the things you're not supposed to do, even if you're feeling better, which likely you're going to start feeling better before 6 weeks is even up. Don't do those things. Just listen to the doctors. Don't vacuum. Don't drive. Don't pick shit up. You know what I'm saying? Just rest. I know it might seem impossible to do, but don't wreck this surgery for yourself, Take care of yourself. You deserve this surgery. It's really going to be helpful. It likely is going to really be helpful for you. So don't do anything that's possibly going to hinder your progress. You owe it to yourself and you deserve it. So don't hinder your progress. So when I say that, really pull in your friends and family for help. If you're anything like me, you're going to see a dirty spot and you're going to be like, I want to clean that. Or you're going to be like, I don't want to ask someone to clean my house. I do that myself. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't want to ask. You kind of have to put that aside. If you got friends and family that love you and care about you, they're going to be there for you. And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help, man. It's okay. And this is one of the times that you should. So get some help to clean. Get some help to take out the garbage. Get some help to walk the dogs, to take care of your pets, to take care of your kids. It's not saying that you can't be involved or be there or hang out. Maybe you have a bunch of girlfriends. They can come over, drink wine, help you clean and laugh. Because, yeah, there's going to be moments where you're going to be there for them, right? And this is just one of those moments that they're going to be there for you. So it's really important because, yeah, don't do anything to hinder your progress. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here because I want to make sure that I've got all the tips that I can think of. And all the things that I wanted to say to you guys, things that we don't think about, right? Things that we don't, like I certainly didn't think about until I was in my 6 weeks. And I was like, yeah, that would have been good. Yeah. So I think that's about the end of my list. If there's anything that you found or you wished you did for your surgery, if you had one, yeah, feel free to leave those suggestions in the comments, yeah, what did you find helped you out after your surgery, or what do you think could help you out? And what are some of your stories? Leave them in the comments. And that's it. So, all right. As I'm going to exit, I just want to remind you, because I know how I felt for so many years with this disease, was totally unheard, totally alone. And for a long time, I was entirely misinformed. As we leave today, as we come to an end, I just want to say, remember, you're not alone. You are so not alone. We are all here. We're all in this. And yeah, stay strong out there. And we'll see you next time.